Welcome to Survivor NSFW. Jonny Fairplay, I am excited. First of all, you're not at your house. You're somewhere other than your house because you don't have any power, right?
Yeah, fucking it. Wow. All right, so I lost power at 5 a.m. Yesterday morning, and I got the Duke Power sent me a text and said I would have power restored at 11:45 tomorrow. So a buddy of mine, he was just like, "Hey, you want to come over and we're watching the Marvel movies in order of when they would have happened, not the order that they were released." But so we started with Captain America, and then last night we did Iron Man 2, and then the Incredible Hulk. Next is Iron Man 3 and Avengers and so forth. So pretty excited. It's pretty awesome.
That's fucking badass.
But a little backstory on my buddy. So I am in the biggest mansion in Danville, Virginia. Like you move this place anywhere else on the planet other than Danville, Virginia, you're looking about 3-4 million, no problem. Damn. So, but the gimmick is, I mean, and this is for anyone out there, it's just like, man, I wish that could be me. It could be you. And here's the deal. He went on vacation to Jamaica like 15 years ago. And he was at this bar, and there was this band playing this song, and he was just like, wow, that's a cool song. So he approached the band, and he was just like, hey, can I buy the rights to that song? And they're like, sure, man, no problem. So he's like, okay, well, I'll be back tomorrow with $5,000 and a legal contract. And they're like, okay, you're stupid. Okay. So anyway, he did. That song is called Who Let the Dogs Out.
What the?
Wow.
So I don't know if you've ever been to a sporting event, but every single sporting event from now to eternity plays that song. A dog show. Like I'm watching, like a year ago, I'm watching a Barbie movie with my daughter, and there's a puppy who let the dogs out. I mean, life changer.
Well, that is awesome. Right now, before we go any further into your story, Jonny, which is awesome, I am very, very excited to have two guests from one of the most amazing seasons of Survivor, in my opinion, as a super fan of all time. We have the Godfather Carl in the house and Hot Cop Dan. How you guys doing?
Doing fantastic.
Good, man.
So anyone not on Patreon right now, Carl's just looking magnificent as only Carl can look. But Hot Cop Dan has a huge mural of himself.
Well, it's me and my kids, man. Come on, it's all of us.
With the police gear. I mean, it's just like, hey, I don't know if you know that I'm like Hot Cop Dan, but fucking Hot Cop Dan, motherfucker. And I'm like a dad, so get extra moist. So I'm potent, by the way. I made that.
Oh, that is hilarious.
This is really cool having you guys. I like we try to do kind of different stuff here on Survivor NSFW, and I'm looking at the amount of weeks that we have before Edge of Extinction starts, and I was just like, man, it would be cool. I'm like, Carl's a great story. I talked to Carl. Carl got what's that T-shirt you're rocking there? Would that be a?
About this?
Oh, a Hidden Immunity Idol Nullifier T-shirt. Did you get that at JonnyFairplay.com?
JonnyFairplay.com.
And with every purchase, you get a phone call from Jonny Fairplay. So
he's gonna call you.
So then, Hot Cop Dan orders the shirt. Orange is the worst buff, and I talked to Hot Cop Dan. We talked for about half an hour, and the conversation ends with I have an alliance on season 40. I'm just like, how did this happen? And I'm just like, all right. And I'm like, and this is, I have, once again, for people that are just like, Jonny Fairplay, he gets inside information. All right. I had no clue about anything, and you guys can attest this. And, as the season progresses, I'm just like, we're done with the season. I'm just like, how cool would it be to have the two of them? and we're here, and I think this is going to be the one of the most fun interviews we've done at Survivor NSFW, and I want to personally thank you both for coming on together, and Matt, you for steering the ship, because you have heavy hands here on this one.
Yeah, and what's so cool about this, man, is Survivor is a game, and you guys both seem to embrace that, because obviously with your T-shirt on, you had the nullifier. That's a huge thing of this season. Jonny Fairplay and I were at a live event, one of our events we do in Cincinnati, and it was the night that all went down. So the fact, Hot Cop Dan, that you're sitting there with a smile on your face, Carl the Godfather's over here, that was one of the most epic tribal councils that I've ever seen. Jonny and I have talked before about, as a player, it sucks having all these advantages that could go haywire. But as a viewer, it's a beautiful thing, especially that night. Everyone in the room was freaking the fuck out, Jonny. So I want to go to that night, okay? So first of all, Dan, obviously you have no animosity toward anyone. You don't have any animosity.
Well, we don't know that.
Well,
He might just be your. I just came to say fuck Carl and fuck your T-shirt.
No, but I mean, I want to hear both your guys' sides of the story of what we're gonna skip around all through this season. But it was such an epic thing. You did not know ahead of time, either of you, that this nullifier was going to be in the game, did you?
No, not at all.
We didn't know it was going to be a nullifier. We knew it was going to be a twist to the game, but we didn't know what it was going to be.
When did they tell you that? Like when you're sitting there on the barge, or they just like, hey, just so you know, there's going to be a strange twist, and if you find it, you find it, and if not, you're fucked.
Fuck, I've been drunk so many times since then, I can't recall exactly when he actually did say it.
Do you remember?
No, man. I mean, there's always a twist in the game. Typically,
Okay.
especially in recent seasons, there's always something.
But do you remember them saying that there's going to be a twist that's never happened before?
I don't remember that. But dude, that was a long time ago. I barely remember. I don't even remember. I barely remember the night I got voted out, much less what happened before that.
He fucking remembers the night he got voted out.
So Johnny's frozen again, but hopefully it'll unfreeze. So I'll ask you this. So you, looking back now, if you're going to go out in the game of Survivor in an epic fashion, I mean, that's kind of the way to go out, right? I mean, you were a part of history, not on, it wasn't a good thing towards you, but it was one of the biggest moves in Survivor history. Does this keep you up at night? Are you pissed about it looking back? Or are you just like, hey man, it's part of the game?
And that, I look at it as it's part of the game. I mean, I can't be mad about, that's how the game is played. I mean, that's what makes Survivor great. That's why everybody watches it. It's always changing, always growing, whatnot. I mean, can't be mad about it. You know, it is what it is. I mean, what's being mad going to do for me? It's going to just keep me up at night and piss me off.
Right.
You know, and that's how I look at it. Just let it go. I mean, it is what it is.
And then, Carl, what was it going through your mind going into that tribal council? You have this nullifier, and everything has to align perfectly for you to be able to use it in the epic fashion that it was. Talk me kind of through the plan going into that tribal council before you actually play that thing.
If you go back and look at it, you'll see where there were several instances where Gabby was upset with me because I was talking to all of Dan's alliances, you know, kind of sort of letting them know, hey, we're gunning for Dan. We're gunning for Dan. Even though we didn't have the numbers, but we knew what advantages we had, so we had the numbers. So for me, it was like, okay, let me do everything I can to coax him into playing his idol, which we knew he had. You know what I mean?
Right.
But that was my whole strategy. If you tell a person you're gonna fucking vote them out, then they're gonna do everything they can to save themselves. So I knew at that point that he was gonna play his idol. Now, the only thing that scared the hell out of me was when Nick used his still a vote on Allison. that confused me because I was like, okay, so now that throws a wrench in it. What if Dan decides to play it for Allison, thinking that we're going after her? You know what I mean? But yeah, man. Right, exactly.
You always played for Allison?
Yeah, I almost did. I mean, that was my gameplay the whole time, like take care of the people. I thought I was okay, or I thought I was good when I was playing the idol for me, and then when Nick played the steal a vote and stole Allison's, it made me second guess. I'm like, oh well, what are they trying to pull now? Because Christian had pulled me aside and was like, hey man, sorry, you're going home today. It sucks for you. Sorry. I'm like, oh man, this sucks. You know, I'm doing my best acting and being upset and sad, but I'm like, oh, I got an idol in my pocket. And
that was the whole thing. That's why we were telling everybody it's Dan, because we knew. I mean, that's fucking hot cop Dan. You know that cockiness set in. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But, in Cincinnati, we asked Nick, we're just like, why the steal a vote on Allison? He's just like, she kind of just annoyed me. I mean, I didn't really like her. It's like, I had to do it on somebody and kind of mess them up, but she just, I don't hold no ill will or nothing, but I didn't like her. It's just like, wow.
So speaking of Nick, obviously Nick played a great game, but here's what I want to know. So we see Pat getting medically evacuated in, the first one out. Now, they showed Nick kind of being lazy around the David camp. You guys were all busting your ass on shelter and everything else. If Pat doesn't get evacuated, does Nick go home on the first tribal?
Okay, so I can only speak for myself at this point. But if Pat wouldn't have got evacuated, I myself was doing everything I could to get people to fucking send Nick home. That was on me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now, whether or not they would have came with me, we'll never know. But I was doing everything I could to send him home because when we got on the island, I mean, fuck, Dan can tell you, it was miserable, So we're trying everything we can to get a shelter up, and he's walking around with his little fucking lawyer blue jacket on, and I mean, it's like, come on, man, do something, help.
Right.
I did ask. I was just like, hey, you're that first episode. I was, it's no. I'm like, I don't think Nick got a very good edit, and then the weird thing they did with the weird lighting and stuff, I thought didn't play well at all. Right. But like, I'm just like, why were you lazy? And he's just like, I won't. He goes, I was looking for the idol, but they're not showing me looking for the idol, and they just think I'm lazy.
Yeah, he wasn't helping with the damn shelter, that's for sure.
Well, let me ask you this, Carl. In that early days,
but the guy right there is sitting there laughing because he was doing the same fucking thing, and he won't get the lazy at it.
Hey, I was working too, though. I didn't look until everybody else was looking. Come on.
But
I mean, on their side, hell, 2 of them equals 4 of us.
That's
true. What I'm saying? So
don't sell yourself short, Carl.
I'm just saying
right
size-wise.
Yeah.
Dan can carry 2, whereas Christian can only pull a fucking half. I mean, I'm just saying, which Christian is a strong-ass dude, but I'm just saying as far as the looks of it goes, you know what I mean?
Sure.
So not only, you're saying that Nick was lazy. Did you were you getting a good read on him, knowing that he was out there to play the game? Like, could you tell if he was a strategic player from day one when you first started talking to him, or was he kind of just not even really implying that to you guys?
I mean, just looking at him, you could tell he was a smart guy. That was written all over his face.
Even past the LG shucks, you're just like, man, this motherfucker.
Oh yeah. I mean, because
you can't be a lawyer by saying LG shucks is your answer.
Well, no, I have to disagree. Because they peg me as this country ass dude, which I love my horses and stuff of that nature, but that's just one side of me. You know what I mean? So I can kind of sort of look at Nick the same way, which a lot of people don't know. He's this old shucks guy, but fuck, Nick only, like, his favorite rapper is Lil Uzi Vert or some shit like that. Like, I don't even hardly listen to rap. He listens to more rap music than I listen to. You know what I mean? So
I'm gonna
can't
unfriend
go
Nick,
off
knowing
of
this
that.
little
Yeah.
Uzi Vert shit. This is
and he's my guy. Nick, I talk to Nick damn near every day. He's my dude. But
little Uzi Vert, come on,
man. I'm like, well, all this new rap they got now. I
remember I watched when I went there for Fans versus Favorites. Me and Suri stayed up late one night, and she'd never seen the cartoon Boondocks, and so we're watching Boondocks, and there's an episode where I think it's Mos Def plays this character Thugalicious, and one of the little kids was asking Thugalicious, he goes like, "Who was your favorite rapper when you was growing up?" And he was like, Ice Cube. He goes, "The guy that does the children's movies."
What's funny, these new rappers, Carl, I'm with you. I got this old BMX buddy that runs this website and podcast called No Jumper. They interview all these new school rappers. They all got tattoos on their face. Yeah. And I don't know how old you are, but I grew up listening to all kinds of shit. But I listened to heavy metal and I listened to rap when it was Public Enemy and NWA and Eazy-E and shit like that. That
was age is showing.
Yeah,
I'll tell you in a heartbeat. I'm 42 years old.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I'm with you, Matt. Give me some Public Enemies, some Eazy, we can go back to some Dougie Fresh, all of that type of shit. You know?
Oh yeah, yeah. Today's
stuff,
I don't know if it's being.
that.
Yeah, I can't either, man. It's crazy, man. Here's the deal. Like Jonny was recruited to be on Survivor the first season. Now he's an unbelievable super fan. We break down these episodes. I am a huge fan since day one. I've been watching. I applied 2 times. The second time I applied, I got on the show. I'm going to go with you first, Carl. Carl, are you like a longtime fan of Survivor? Have you been trying to get on a while? And then I want to ask that same question to Hot Cop Dan.
I've sat on my couch for probably about the last 16 years watching every season, drinking beer, chilling with the wife and my daughters. I never, ever applied. I was recruited, but I would always sit there and tell my wife and my kids, man, I could go do that. I can do that. But
Where did they find you?
Off of my Instagram.
That's pretty fascinating.
You just talk shit on your Instagram. You're like, fuck these motherfuckers.
No, actually, I do a lot of trail riding and stuff like that with the horses, So I take it, as you can see how I was dressed on the show. They were looking for a black cowboy, and they found me.
They were looking for a surfer, and they found me. And I'm sorry.
Right.
Well, Hot Cop Dan,
Jonny Fairplay.
Obviously, Hot Cop Dan, you are a good-looking dude. I thought honestly that you were going to go far into the game. You were painted as a big threat, obviously.
So did he.
Thanks, Carl.
So, explain to me, your background of, and I know you guys, I'm sure, are huge fans now, dude. We all got this thing in common, playing this game. So, what got you interested in Survivor, Dan, and got you on the show?
I got recruited, so.
Was it from the calendar?
Oh, it was from going viral. Being a hot cop.
Being the hot cop.
That's
Did
where
they go after more than one of you?
Yeah, there was 3 of us, and we took a selfie during a hurricane, and went viral. And within 2 days, I got a Facebook message from one of the casting producers, and I was like, "This shit ain't real," but fuck it. So I messaged her back. And I don't hear from her for 4 days. So I messaged her again. I was like, hey, I want to come play for $1 million. Come on.
Really could use that money.
Yeah, I could use $1 million, please. And freaking hit it off from, she finally got back in touch with me. We did a Skype interview that was supposed to be 10 minutes. Ended up talking to her for an hour. And it was smooth sailing from there.
But did they reach out to all 3 of you or just?
No, just me.
Oh wow! Look at there. So were you just like, yeah, that's right. I mean, it's 3 of us went viral, but only one of us got that call. Just saying.
I guess that makes him the hottest cop, right?
The hottest cop. Hot cop with the good hair. All right,
guys. So now, okay. So for me, it was
hold on, Matt. This is insane. So we're talking about one. I mean, easily top 5 season of all time, possibly top 3.
Yep.
and 2 of the 20 were fucking recruits. What are the fucking odds?
You know.
Oh, and which got John Morrison? He was a recruit.
Well, Johnny Fairplay, you were a recruit, and
I know,
you're one of the most legendary players.
Yeah, but so many people get pissed off. They're just like, "Oh, these recruits are ruining the game," and I'm just like, "Some of us ain't bad, man."
Kara was a recruit.
Not all bad.
Who?
B was Kara, B.
Okay.
They both were recruits.
Yeah.
But what people fail to realize is you're recruited, but you still got to go through the casting process.
You're exactly right.
Like I still had to go to Los Angeles and sit in front of Jeff and whoever all those other people was. So at the end of the day, you still have to sell yourself to get them to like you, to pick you to be on the show.
You earned your spot. I mean, it's not like you got there and they're just like, "Oh, well, I mean, they're here. We might as well just let them."
and I think your cast was one of the. What's that?
What's that, Dan?
I said it's not like you show up unprepared either. From what I understand, I was recruited, started watching the show. I watched that shit while I was at work at night. I was working nights. I was binge watching Survivor in my patrol car at night. It'd be like 4:00 in the morning, nothing's going on, and I got Survivor sitting on my computer. It's not like recruits show up.
Oh no, totally. And the thing is this was one of the greatest seasons ever. And they're not going to cast someone who's not a great storyteller and has a good background. So now that you guys went through this whole process, you get on the show and you're like watching yourself on TV, and now that it's over, I mean, is this something that you guys would both love to go play Survivor again? Are you guys like mega fans now, and now that you've seen it from the other side, like what's your kind of view on the show?
I'll let you go, Dan.
They can call me right now and tell me they need me in a week, and I would be there. Like, I would go back in a heartbeat. I wouldn't think twice about it.
Me and Matt would be on at the end of the podcast. We would be on a plane, but I mean, some people need a week. I mean, I guess you don't care as much as others.
I can call work and be like, "Hey, quitting or you're letting me go. It doesn't matter."
Right. Again, I've watched for the last 16 years straight, so I always, knew about the show. Now, I'm not no Christian and Fishback or none of them that sit down and take notes the whole time I'm watching.
Carl. Let me just tell you this. So I got roped into being the co-host of Johnny's podcast, right? Probably back in, was it October, Johnny?
October, yeah.
So I'm a fan, Carl, since day one. Like, I consider myself a super fan. But if someone said to me, like, some bullshit trivia or said, when did this person get voted out on season, whatever, I have no fucking idea. I've watched them all, and I love it. And I'm just like you, Carl.
If you can answer that, you got too much fucking time on your hands.
If you can answer that, you're someone I'm sending home early.
You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like, no, man. But like, in my opinion, sometimes a super fan kind of sort of overplays. Because they got so much fucking intel and they're thinking weeks ahead. It's like, we got to get past this fucking tribal first, Right. But that's me,
Yeah. Well, Nick kind of hinted last week that he felt that Christian maybe didn't have the game that the audience perceived he might have, and he was also trying to play a game that wasn't possibly even there. Which he had the opportunity to kind of stay to join up with the Goliaths when and didn't when he was just trying to make a move out of nowhere. And maybe Nick didn't say this, but I am, because I throw rocks. That's what I do.
That's touchy for me, because for me, if you put me in that situation with Christian and Gabby, all right, me, Davey, and Nick, we're tight, all right, but if you give me the chance to make it to Final 5, I'm going to fucking take that chance every time, because now I'm at Final 5. All I have to do is try to win immunity. If I don't win immunity, I have Christian, so I'm speaking like I'm Gabby. I have Christian. All I have to do is try to get Davey or Nick to vote with me. And then I go to Final 4. At Final 4, shit, if I don't win immunity, I have another chance to try to make fire.
Just make one friend.
I would have went to Final 5 being at the bottom all day. Any fucking day. I mean, because then it's in my hands. If I lose it at that point, then that's on me. But getting to the Final 5, I mean, come on, man. Who wouldn't want that? Who wouldn't want that? Because I could tell my story once I sit down if I get to final 3. At the end of the day, it's up to the jury anyways. You know, some of them vote because they're friends. Some of them vote because they feel you had the best gameplay. I mean, so all of that really doesn't matter if you ask me.
Hot Cop Dan, same to you. What do you think about Christian's game? Maybe a little manufactured to the viewers, or you think because he was first he was a brachacho, and then he was an honorary brachacho, and then I don't even know if he's a brachacho.
I'll be honest, I didn't get to see a whole lot of Christian's game outside of the TV show. I mean, when we were on the island, we were just hanging out, having a good time. I mean, like growing it up. So I feel like Christian maybe overplayed a little bit because of the overthinking, and he's such a big fan, and he's looking, like y'all guys were saying, like weeks down the road. I'm like, dude, it's day 2, and he's looking at day 24. You know, he's a little bit ahead of the curve on a regular basis, but I think that's how he kind of lives his life and carries it over into that. But yeah, I definitely think he might have overplayed a little bit.
He was. I mean, Jonny. He has. You have strong opinions about Christian. I know a lot of people. My wife works at a school, and I was telling Nick this when he got voted out, people were bummed, and my kids were big fans of Christian, and I liked watching Christian. He was. Just one of those good storytellers in his confessionals. But
sure.
Do you think that in a I don't know if he makes it to the end with one of you, if it's you two and Christian and Gabby and Allison at the final 5, is Christian someone that you would want to take to the end? Like, do you guys think that you could have beat Christian if you were to make it to the end of the game with him?
I think it would have been hard. I mean, he's like the ultimate David, and everybody loves that underdog story. And that would have been, and like you said, he's a good storyteller, and that's the whole point of being a final 3.
Right.
Being able to tell your story and sell yourself, and I got that dude to do it.
Right. I have to agree with that. And then it also depends on what your jury is looking for. You know what I mean? Are they looking to hear the story, or are they looking to see the moves made? So it just varies on what the jury is looking for. Because if you're looking for the story, then yeah, it's Christian all day long.
But I'm looking at the story, and I'm like, I'm sorry, but Nick's story blows away Christian's story.
Oh,
Christian can sell it better. It's
What's
all
that?
salesman. I think Christian can sell it better. Honestly, I think he could sell it a little bit better than Dave.
The only thing when Nick told his story is Nick, like I said, Nick had moves that he could implement into his story, what he did, you know what I'm saying, where he came from, all of that. So Nick's story was fucking awesome.
Nick's story is strong. I mean, like,
it really was.
At the Cincinnati show, he's telling how he got cast, and like, they call him on Grizel's birthday, and he doesn't say anything because that's her day.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, fuck. I'm like, there's your final speech right there. Let me tell y'all about the time when they called me, telling me I was on the show. So with Grizel, y'all gonna meet her. She's real pretty. She's too pretty to be with me. Anyway.
Yeah. I laugh every time you're telling me I kicked this coverage.
He did outkick his coverage. Even with $1 million, he outkicked his coverage. Grizel is Hot Cop Dan material, all right?
So, Carl, you were called the Godfather. It's like it was funny because you kind of your character kind of developed, man, up until a point where, man, this dude is a strategic player. So looking back, watching it and stuff, being called that Godfather, are you pretty happy on the way that you were portrayed? Was that an accurate portrayal, or are you not so happy about that?
I mean, I'm cool with it. It's crazy, man, because I never listened to podcasts before, my season. Now I'm fucking hooked on them.
You're welcome.
Hey, appreciate it. But listening to them, while I'm watching the show, and then the next day I'm listening to all these podcasts, and all these different podcasts, I'm hearing them say, "Oh, well, he's not fucking doing anything," and this and that. But the whole time, if you listen to all the others, they'll tell you, I was fucking laid back, but I was sitting there making moves here and there, you know what I'm saying, without it being a whole big thing. I didn't get to edit, You know what I'm saying? But I was laid low. Dan can account for that. I was laid low, you know.
In the shelter, and people would come up to him, and then you'd have a little conversation, and he'd throw like little here, little there. Never like this big grand ordeal. Like you would just go and be chilling around the fire, and there's Carl. You'd be like, "Hey man, what's up?" And you just start talking about the game and like what you think, what you want to do. It was a lot different than the way a lot of other people play.
And the thing is, Carl, what you're saying is pretty crazy. You guys are both on a season that has so many charismatic characters. Everyone is there was so much story development early on. Typically on a season of Survivor, dude, I'm like, I don't even know who the fuck's in the game till like later in the game, right? Because I'm like, who the fuck is this guy's name? But there's so much character development that you guys were all, kind of edited a lot. And so in a season like that, man, there's a lot of competition between a guy like Hot Cop Dan. You know what I'm saying? You got Carl, you got the Christians. And so I can imagine for both of you, there's probably a lot more strategy and gameplay that you guys were actually doing that wasn't shown on the TV. With that being said, overall, are you guys happy with your edit and the portrayal of how the story went down?
There's only one thing I had an issue with mine. Only one thing.
Was it the fact that you thought you went out to play The Bachelor and then you found out like day 2022 that you were playing Survivor? Was that?
It is. Okay, back off. Oh man. So my only issue was like the sandbag challenge where we're holding it up and I start talking smack to the other tribe or team, whatever we are.
Yeah.
Like, that was
but Hot Cop Dan referencing the fact that I hate the word team and it's a fucking tribe. But thank you, I appreciate that.
That was all for you, Johnny.
I appreciate it. Like, very, very appreciated.
I start talking.
That's why we have an alliance on 40.
Exactly. We're gonna win it all, bro.
Well, one of us. That's how it works.
Final three, maybe final three. But and like it made me look like this arrogant prick, and then. You see, if you go on YouTube, it shows me talking. Like, I have a little confessional and be like, yeah, I knew we weren't going to win them, so I figured if I make them do something stupid. So you make me look like a jackass, except for, like, the 30 people that watch the YouTube confessional. That was, like, the only thing that was...
It was strategy is what you're doing, because you're just like, there's no fucking way. Let me do something.
Yeah, exactly. I was like...
Let me throw some shit against the wall.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see if something sticks.
Yeah.
And overall, Carl, about you, I mean, were you happy the way you were portrayed? And the whole time, obviously, there's been a big controversy, if you will, about, you're on a reward and you're drinking beer and you get a little buzz, man. But you know what? Here's the deal. If I'm on a reward and there's alcohol, Johnny, any one of us, I'm going to be partaking and enjoying what's going on. Okay, now they kind of overly edited and played up the fact that Carl's got a buzz when everyone else on the fucking planet that was with you was probably in the same boat. What is your thought process on that whole deal?
That's the only, I would have to say that's the only thing I don't like, because just like when we came back from the merge feast, you know what I'm saying? This is where I said that Dan was the first one that said I was drunk. You know what I mean? It was from after the merge feast. Fuck, we all was drinking every piece of alcohol they had out there. You know what I mean?
Back when I used to drink, if there was alcohol, it was just like, let's make this count.
Right. I mean, why not? They gave it to us. Let's drink. I'm a grown ass man. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And everyone that's a fan of the show, that watches the show, whatever, the day that we have reward and have alcohol or whatever is a totally different day from freaking tribal council night. You know what I mean? So it's like, my game didn't get blew up because I was drinking. I had a whole nother freaking day to do whatever I had to do, to say to whomever I need to say what to, So that would have to be the only thing I didn't like, is that the little 42 minutes of TV time that it gets, they kind of put it together to where it's like I was drunk and I'm telling everybody this and telling everybody that. That's a bunch of bullshit. But I mean, it is what it is. Get me back on there tomorrow, because I'm with y'all three. As soon as this podcast is over, I leave and go back.
Yeah.
And if I fucking have a
well,
chance
not Hot Cop Dan. He needs a week. He's got to get hair gel. The beard has to grow to a certain.
It's like crap, man.
Yeah, man, but that would have to be the only thing is
Now,
try to portray me as the drunk.
I was asking Hot Cop Dan if it keeps him up at night because of the nullifier deal. You have in that word puzzle, right? You were so close. Is that something that keeps you up at night, Carl?
I think about that all the time. I think I actually tweeted
because you had a word.
I tweeted about that I would never use the word perceptions again, because that's all they said. You have 13 blocks to make an 11-letter word. 2 blocks aren't going to be used.
Yeah.
Well, fuck, I put perceptions.
And then
it turned out to be perspective. And the bad part about it is, as soon as I put perceptions, I called, because you got to say, call Jeff to check it.
Yeah, don't do the window.
Jeff. I said, yeah, exactly. I said, Jeff. As soon as I said, Carl, perceptions. No, that's wrong.
Yeah, thanks, Jeff.
Soon as he said it, Davey's right next to me. Right there, smack next to me. It was too late. It was nothing. It was no way I can pull mine out with him
and if it wasn't for you making up that word, you were the one. You were like the sacrificial lamb, dude, because you had the word which helped them solve it, and then you lose.
Yep, and that's the night I went home.
Yep, man, dude.
That night, that's the night I went home.
Well, we have a little house cleaning here, and please let's get this straight for the record, because I'm pretty sure I know the correct answer, but it's fucking killing me on social media. Is it Bing or Ding?
B. With the
B, right? Bing.
B. Bing.
Yeah, it's not.
Every time I see it, I have to correct it. But shit, just ask Dan what I said.
Yeah, Dan. Well, I'm sorry, Dan.
Definitely Bing. Definitely Bing.
It sounded like Bing when you heard it.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, no, Dan was a real good sport, man, on that, man. When Dan got up, when that happened, he gave me dap and everything. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people think me and Dan don't like each other. Dan just had to put a picture out the other day letting people know me and Dan cool with one another. We don't have no ill feelings towards each other. I can't wait till he come to Houston or I go to Florida. We go fucking kick it and hang out.
Right.
There we go.
So what is your guys' opinion on the controversial Angelina in this show? Jonny was a big fan. I know,
still in my heart.
She annoyed a lot of people, and we saw her on TV. I liked watching her. What was it like playing?
I hate to see her go, but I like to watch her leave. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if she can wrestle, but I'd like to see her box. Thank you.
So what was she like? I mean, are you guys cool with her? Was she really annoying on the show? Give me a little insight on the real Angelina that we didn't play the game with her.
Well, Dan played with her first. You know what I mean? So I'll let him speak first.
I never had any issues with her except for the one where she was trying to run the whole show and got all pissy because nobody wanted to do what she said. But I'm so laid back. If I don't care, you do you and I'm going to do me. I don't let other people bother me. So I'm whatever it is, what it is. That's how I was with Natalie. A lot of people had issues with Natalie. I was whatever, just keep over there talking. I'm going to do what I'm going to do. So I didn't really have any issues with either one of them. Angelina, she's one person I talk to more now than anybody else, to be honest.
Yeah, and that's funny that you say that, dude, because after my season and, people that I might not have, talked to a ton in the game, but I was on, I didn't make the damn jury, so I'm on a pre-jury trip with people, but you create these relationships outside of the game, and that's another beautiful thing I think about David versus Goliath is the fact that it seems like most everyone, from what I see, respected the game, that it is a game, and you guys,
20.
and you guys are all pretty cool with each other. So now, is that the case? At the finale, was there any drama that we didn't see Any hatred, anything like that?
If there was, none of it didn't involve me. I mean, I was cool hanging out with everybody, you know. Even once we flew back from after filming, hell, I flew to Los Angeles, stayed at Angelina's house for a week, you know, me and my wife. Like, she just opened her house up to us. Angelina's a cool girl, man, sweet girl, man. It's that whole edit, you know what I mean? Now, was she playing? Was she playing conniving, whatever? Yeah, but you're playing the game of Survivor.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know what I mean?
And this is such a hard game, and your season especially, man, with the freaking weather. I mean, it was some of the craziest weather and elements that we've seen. And
It'll bond you quick.
And you guys never even got your swimsuits at all. My wife and I were saying, like, why aren't they getting them? What was the reason behind that? Was it just because
They say it was some whole Tyler Perry shit, but I don't know. They
Tyler
gave us
Perry
a
said
sewing
he
kit.
liked it better when they didn't get their shit.
Like, the girls was literally having to sew their bras and their undies. You know what I mean? Like, that's all we had. That's it. Hell, if I was Angelina, I probably would have asked somebody for a fucking jacket. I was cold as hell too. I mean, you know, it was cold. I mean, let's be honest, man. It rained for what, the first 2 weeks, Dan? You know what I'm saying? Like, and it was always at night. It was like daytime rain. Okay, cool. Let's go fucking run down the beach and play in the rain.
Just jump in the ocean.
But,
you know, daytime rain's fine. Nighttime rain, you're like, this shit sucks. This shit sucks.
It's freaking miserable.
Now, Hot Cop Dan, so you were kind of giving yourself pep talks. I like to sometimes talk to myself sometimes. You know,
come on, buddy.
Yeah.
You got this.
I'm just like,
She's hard as hell.
I'm like, man, you got a glorious beard, Matt. You got a lovely beard. Like, do you talk to yourself like all the time or what?
All the time. It's kind of like my gym thing, really, and it turned on in the games while I was there. I mean, used to be former fat kid, so I got to motivate myself sometimes, and that's how I do it. You know, I have sometimes have to remind myself, you can do it. You can do it. You got this. You got this. Focus.
So that was the real Dan. Like, that is something you do, like when you're at the gym and you're like, I can bench press, you know, this 10 more times, or I can do this many more.
Me.
So it's a self-motivation tool. That's pretty fascinating. So you were a fat kid. So how long ago?
just stop it with that.
No, but look at your.
You're a fat kid.
You know, but I mean, I'm watching the video. If you're watching this on Patreon, and it's like he's got a Matthew Bible verse on his. Every time we mention something that Hot Cop Dan's uncomfortable with, he kind of like makes a muscle by it. Like, kind of goes like this, you know. So you're a buff dude. What did you do to prepare for Survivor? Were you already kind of lost all this weight and were kind of super fit going into the game? Like, what? Give me your background.
They didn't make the Hot Cop calendar by being the fat cop.
About 5 years ago is when I really changed my life and started losing weight. I wanted to make our SWAT team, and to get ready for Survivor, I kept doing what I was doing. The only thing that I started doing differently was I started swimming. Because I'm not a strong swimmer. I mean, 6'4", 230-pound dudes aren't great swimmers. Like, it's just, we're not buoyant.
Swimming is the hardest thing, I think, in Survivor. Carl, do you agree with that? Swimming in the ocean in those challenges, dude. That's the one thing I was nervous about going into my season. I was like, dude, I can swim.
But because it's always high tide, they have to do it at high tide. So,
I actually was pissed because I can swim my ass off, and we didn't get very many water challenges because of the weather. You know what I mean? So I was upset about that because I was ready for the water challenges. You know what I mean? It just didn't really happen. I think we had, while I was still in the game, I think we had only one that actually involved swimming. That was it.
I don't think I had any when I was in the game.
Yeah.
Dude, I don't know about, there's a lot of kind of water challenges with Jonny, with you guys. You guys were in Pearl Islands, were in the water a lot. And then in Caramoan, like every fucking challenge was like in the water. And I was like, it's one thing swimming in the swimming pool at the YMCA preparing for Survivor. It's another when you're like adrenaline's going and you're starving and you're in the freaking ocean competing in these challenges. Survivor's the real deal. And I'm sure before you guys played, there's probably people telling you guys, Oh, this is done in a studio, or they hand you food. For me, it is the real fucking deal, you guys.
I still have people asking me, so what do y'all do when they turn the cameras off? And I'm like, motherfucker, the camera never turned on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like this shit is all real.
Yep. That's awesome, man.
All right, so I listen to other podcasts and I look at people when they do their Instagram stuff and all that, and so I run across a story, and there's two parts to the two-part follow-up, but let me start with the main part. So Kara Kay gives the story of how her and Alec fall in love. It's the final night celebration. Everybody's partying and drinking, and the last three survivors drinking, amazingly, are Carl, Kara Kay, and Alec. And Carl eventually taps out, passes out, and Alec and Kara Kay look into each other's eyes, and the rest is history. Now, let's say
had a love story. I just had the fire.
Let's say Kara Kay's the first of the three to pass out. Do you and Alec look into each other's eyes longingly and?
Yeah, and I tell him to go get me another fucking beer.
Well, it would say he brings it. I mean, I'm
gonna keep drinking.
So are you to think for this related? You're just like, all right, it's 5 a.m. motherfuckers. Let's start again in the morning, or what?
No, actually, man. I know they were cool. They were talking a lot. You could see that they were bonding, but it actually caught me by surprise because I think I was the very first person to see it. Because when I woke up that morning, like I get up like, holy fuck, I'm still outside and the sun is up. You know what I mean? Like, what the hell? Nobody's there.
I've been there.
So the security guard at Ponderosa, he walks by laughing and he goes, no worries. I watched you all night. I'm thinking, motherfucker, why you ain't wake me up? I was in my bungalow. You know what I mean?
My bed.
So as I go to my bungalow, you know what I'm saying, I see the two bean bags that's out on the little patio thing that's over the beach, you know what I mean? And I mean I knew right there who it was, but that was crazy. I wasn't expecting that.
All right, so let's go to the other side of this. Hot Cop Dan. So like if you're watching David versus Goliath and the show ends, you're just like, well, I wonder if Hot Cop Dan and Kara Kay got together.
I get asked that. I'm like, no, dog, don't you got Instagram? Like,
well, that's
aren't
the second,
you on social media?
That's
like,
the second part of the question. According to Rumor and Innuendo, Alec, so at the beginning of the season, I got mad at Alec as a survivor. I'm just like, man, why do you have to put that out there? The picture, before the cast is announced, and put the fuck it out there and have the picture of Kara Kay and Alec. And according to Rumor and Innuendo, he's saying that you brought it to CBS's attention.
Bro, I don't know anybody from CBS other than the people that I've worked with. That's some bullshit. I live in fucking Gainesville. Who do I know?
Okay.
I don't know like shit.
Okay.
It is what it is. People can, if you want to blame somebody else for the mistakes that you make, that's fine. It is what it is. If you don't want to own your own shit, that's cool. But if you want to blame somebody else, whatever, I'll take it. I'll be the scapegoat. But no, it ain't me.
Okay. That's just. I mean, you're here. I figure I address it. So. As I would, obviously. Right, so, okay. Also, so the night that you're voted, our good friend Carl uses the Hidden Immunity Idol Nullifier. You post on Facebook or on Instagram the next day that you have a T-shirt available. Fuck fake friends.
Hey man, I was going through some stuff in my personal life.
It didn't ring. I mean, it didn't ring true for you. Like I'm sitting there looking. I'm just like, this isn't Hot Cop Dan. This isn't the positive guy that I've been watching, all season on the show and on social media. And then out of nowhere, did it just all kind of just hit all? You're just like,
I can admit, on the outside looking in, it wasn't a good look. After everything everything that had transformed, it absolutely looked like you had a little bit of animosity in a sense.
Yeah.
No, man, no animosity at all. I want people to be happy.
Okay, well, where does the fuck fake friends T-shirt come from? Why? I like, as I said, you
like legit, like that was some shit that was going on at home, and it just so happened that the A and the K, like I know that looks like shit, and I didn't realize it until after somebody pointed it out to me that it looks like shit, but that wasn't the intention at all whatsoever. It looks bad, I get that, but that wasn't the intention at all.
Because you're a really positive guy.
Yeah.
I try to be.
I mean, like more than I mean, you're kind enough to tag me in your post, to which 20,000 females masturbate probably too. And I'm just happy that there's an at Jonny Fairplay while they're doing it. and along with these semi-homoerotic pictures, there's very positive messages, and that's followed by this it just didn't seem like you.
Yeah, there's been a lot of stuff going on at work with my department and everything. Like, it's going real south around here. So there was a lot of stuff going on with that and everything like that, man. Like,
okay, so it all just came to a head that week.
Yeah, November was a time where we were going back and forth with the city and people and stuff like that, and people throwing other people under the bus at work and whatnot. It just timed up. Like, November was not a good month for me.
Okay, bad timing.
Yeah.
Okay. And hold on, there's one of your posts. It looks like an oil painting. Once again, semi homoerotic, like oil painting picture of where does one get an oil painting done of them?
Because I want one
a jacket. It's like a men's. It's like a jacket, but like not in a men's size.
Hold on, let me. I look like
I just wrote like the sweet jacket. Does that come in a men's size on Twitter?
So,
hey man,
just email
this. I got to show it off. Come on.
so since we're talking about stuff, so I'm looking at Dan's Instagram. Holiday Chub Be Gone. There's a selfie of you in a mirror. Is this you now?
That was me yesterday.
So, do you think you're fat in this picture? Like, are you wanting to are you feel like you're out of shape and wanting to get back into? Because I know what it's like playing Survivor. You lose all this weight and it's this crazy experience. But for me, it's like, and I didn't make it nearly as long as you guys. I wanted to eat everything in sight once you're deprived of your normal things in life.
Yeah,
that's where I was. I mean, did you guys, when you guys get voted out, did you just want to eat and drink everything, you know what I'm saying, for quite a long time?
It was hard, dude. Whenever I first come home, I was like, oh, I want to go out to eat every fucking meal.
Yeah.
Sushi, Chinese food, burgers, pizza.
And you're not eating like 9 out of 10 people listening to this podcast, like when they go to get sushi, they get like 1 roll or possibly 2 rolls. You're fucking 6'4", 230. You're just like 10.
Yeah.
Right?
I got to put it down. Oh, yeah.
So life after Survivor. Carl, what are your plans, man? The show is done. Obviously, you're going to be watching the show. Are you going to be going to events and staying in the scene? Like, what is the fans out there? What's next for Carl?
I mean, yeah, I'm going to, try to stay in the scene, whatever. But, at the same time, I didn't fucking win, so I still got to get up and go to work every morning.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, we know what you mean.
Winning that money. Like I heard you, Matt, on Nick's podcast saying you rather the title over the money. Fuck you. That's where you can have the title. I need the money. You know what I mean? That would just make life easier. I've still got to work, but now not as hard.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I can secretly call myself the champion at home with that money. Like,
guess what?
Like I can make little statues of the entire cast and be like, oh, who's the champion now?
Yeah. But yeah, no, man, I just signed on with the guy from Hearts of Reality. I've never been to that. I've seen so much about it. So, I'm stoked about trying to raise money for that. You know what I'm saying? And going to that event. and just, I mean, whatever comes my way, I'm open to it. You know, I'm not one like, you know, some of them. They're social media kings and queens. You know, like that's just not who I am.
Right.
I'll post a picture here and there. You know.
Yeah. You're just a real dude, and
Yeah.
you're not gonna all of a sudden be some freaking social media wizard just because you're on a reality TV show. Now, Dan, what's your plans, my brother?
Well, hold on real quick, Carl. You should check out the Cincinnati event in June. Dan and I, Hot Cup Dan and I, we will be filming season 40 during that. But you should.
You know, our alliance is going to be feeling good about this time.
It's in June, you say?
June, the Cincinnati event. We'll have Tasha reach out to you. I was banned for about 10 years. I got unbanned last year, and I stayed at Matt's house. It was a lot of fun.
That's where Jonny and I
let
met.
me know, man.
Yeah.
Usually I take my wife. We go on a couples trip in June. You know what I mean? Out of the country somewhere. But yeah, man. Just let me know. As long as it ain't the same time, I don't have a problem flying up that way.
Hell yeah, right on. Now,
Hot
Hot
Cup
Cup
Dan,
Dan,
what's next?
yeah, what's next in your life?
Other
my
than our
brother?
alliance, what are we gonna call it? What's our alliance name? Like the hot dudes?
We'll call it the Flow. You know, you got good hair, Jonny. We'll call it the Flow. The Flow Alliance.
Oh wow, I like it.
I've been thinking about it all day long. I'm in my patrol car driving around like, what am I?
Did you say the Flow Alliance?
Yeah, the Flow, man. Look.
We're gonna get after the show.
Oh.
After the show, we're gonna sign a deal with the Floby. And we're gonna be like, we're bringing this shit back.
Or you can just get Flo from the fucking insurance commercial to be your spokesperson or something.
That's pretty
of that
cool
nature.
too. I mean, we're not the Texas Rattlers. I mean, you know.
Exactly. You know what I mean? See, that was our shit. Me and Nick would walk past each other and be like, what the fuck?
That is awesome.
I would have voted you out for that alone. Hey, look, they're doing stupid shit. Let's send them home.
It's got to mean something.
It's got it.
For me, I mean, I'm going to keep doing what I've been doing, going to work, being a cop, doing some modeling on the side, you know, just keep doing what I was doing before, what I was doing when I came home. So that's a change for me.
And do you guys think, as you know, looking back at this season, that it is one of the greatest seasons of Survivor? I mean, Carl, you've watched for 16 years, whatever. As a fan, watching.
I would have to put it in the top 5. I definitely would put it in the top 5. I mean, it was moves being made left and right that nobody could ever pinpoint or expect. You know what I mean? Yeah. So for that alone, yeah, it was. Nobody really wants to see, you know, one alliance just control everything. But it was cool because of our story, our title, you know, like the Goliaths was always on top, and then we gathered our advantages and our tools and kind of pushed them back down, you know what I'm saying? And then they got back on top, but then it took one David to, you know, ride off in the sunset and win it all. Yeah, it was pretty cool, man.
That's awesome, man. Well, I tell you what, it was a pleasure watching both of you guys play the game, and it's even a bigger pleasure to have you guys on our podcast. So thank you guys so much for
man,
being
I
a part of
appreciate
this.
it.
One last question for Hot Cup Dan. I would be remiss if I didn't ask. All right, so you have a loyal group of fans.
Oh, I know where this is going.
So at least one time that I'm aware of, these ladies gathered together in one house.
Yeah.
To meet with you at least for lunch. All right. So how many women were in this house at one time?
It was a lot.
He couldn't even count. It was a lot.
I mean, under you're a SWAT cop guy, right?
Yeah.
Under Florida law, would that be considered a brothel by with their intentions and based on quantity and quality for some, I'm sure. Would this legally be considered a brothel?
Let me go read state statute and I'll get back to you.
Okay.
It might take me a few days, all right? But I'll get back to you.
I'm sure. We will look for that answer on social media. Awesome, guys. Thank you so much.
Man, I appreciate it, man.
This has been so much fun. We try to think outside the box here at Survivor NSFW, and we really appreciate you guys joining us. This unbelievable season, you guys, 2 unbelievable players. This is really cool. For those of you that are just listening that would like to see this, because Carl is breathtaking as we know, but of course, Hot Cop Dan with the picture behind him is just something you have to see. You try us on Patreon to see the video version of this. It's patreon.com/Survivor NSFW. We have the weekly Castaway Watch Along, in which we're just finishing up Survivor Pearl Islands. We also do the Q&A, which we answer the questions from you, the fans. That drops every Friday. So over 3 hours of original content every week. The vault of content is there. We started, as Matt mentioned earlier, in October of this year. So tons to binge watch if you haven't already. So try us at patreon.com/Survivor NSFW. Get your T-shirts. 2 new T-shirts dropping this week. We have old school and new school. Could that be a possible theme?
Could that be a theme?
Wow. Check out those shirts now. We got 3 new schoolers and me, the only old school motherfucker that's too stupid not to walk away from the shit. Check that out at johnnyfairplay.com. Also get one of those Hidden Immunity Idol Nullifier shirts that Carl proudly wears and that Hot Cop Dan hates more than life itself. That's available at johnnyfairplay.com. And don't forget, with every purchase, you get a phone call from me, Johnny Fairplay. Go to iTunes. Press the subscribe button, rate us 5 stars, tell your friends, tell your neighbors. We'll see you next week here on Survivor NSFW.
Cheers.
Boom.